Hello everybody, welcome back to X-tricated. And yes, it's a new year and we talk to you about resolutions. Oh wait, I've not even introduced this guy.
Yeah.
My name is DDB.
That's what happened when you let your sidekicks do the job. But it's okay.
Jesus. Prime example of how this guy used to bully me. Welcome back to our predictions for 2024. And guess what? Based on our Spotify rap, our 2023 predictions was our all-time high, and it brought a lot of you guys, listeners, to us, and that's amazing. Well, let's do this again.
And that 2023 prediction was spot on.
Spot on? No, not spot on actually, but like more than 90% of what we predicted actually happened last year.
So let us see whether we can run it back.
Let's aim for 100% this time around.
This will not come and be the one that will shock us.
Oh, it go shock us. They'll tell you, they don't go agree for us as well. We both have a concession that this year is going to be a huge year for Nigeria, because we believe that there are moves that are being orchestrated by Tinubu's administration, to say the least. Now, at the face value of it, right? Let's even start with PMS, like crude oil and production of crude oil, and also
the refining of crude
oil. Refining of crude oil. Is it going to reduce or is it going to increase? Let's start from there.
Okay. Yeah. Dangote refinery is up and running finally.
Yeah.
One of the things that Nigeria has lacked for a long time, since forever, was working refineries. So we've been exporting our crude oil and importing refined oil, and this is one of the contributors to our very big dollar spending. So our biggest import is refined products. So this refinery, now that's up and running, it's not going to drop petrol price, at least not right now. I think the price of the petroleum pump price is going to either increase or stay within the range it is currently, at least for the first quarter.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, for that's my prediction as well for that, and then we're gonna see a slight decrease in the second quarter. A slight decrease in the second quarter because things should have normalized by now, and then marketers should have stopped or have seen that there's no need. So marketers will stop bringing in refined products exported. That will be the start, and that might reduce the price. Then third quarter, that's my prediction, that it's going to reduce, because of course definitely marketers are going to now start subscribing to working with Dangote refinery. And going into the fourth quarter of 2024, I believe that if Boaz refinery is going to be commissioned and it will start working by the end of the year 2024, I believe that will spell the end of Nigeria importing refined petroleum, and that will spell a good turn for Nigeria, especially for the Tinubu administration, because whatever they are talking about, which we're going to talk about later on, tax, investment and all that, is really going to help them like reduce the amount of the exportation-importation ratio as well. So yeah, that's basically.
Because if truly, back in 2023 in June, when we first started talking about Dangote's refinery and all that, we were saying that, we were being told rather, that the refinery is going to have the capacity to produce what Nigeria consumes.
Yeah.
You understand? What we need, and then still be able to export. So imagine a competitor coming into the market, who are coming into the market producing, a lot, not as much as Dangote refinery. His is not as big.
But then there's going to be competition, like price competition.
Price competition is going to be there.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that would be the end of.
And then that's going to
really.
and then that's going to be the hallmark of what we see capitalism is, right? Because that's one advantage, like one of the major advantages of capitalism. One of the major is the fact that because there's competition, right? The price is going to be better for consumers, because if you set your price at a lower price, the other competitor would also want to do that as well. But anyway, we're in the Nigerian economy. We don't know whether it's gonna. It actually happens. It actually happens and it works. So let's see. But one thing is sure anyway. If that happens, if Boas refinery is functioning well by the end of the year, importing products, crude petroleum products from outside Nigeria is going to either end, definitely going to end, because what kind of marketer that is in their sense will go and buy products that are refined outside and bring it into Nigeria and expect people to buy? Like,
how much are you going to use to import it?
Exactly.
Look at the dollar price right now.
How much inflation as well.
And then when somebody is going to sell, let's say maybe 500, and you want to come selling like maybe 700 naira, who will buy your shit?
Just imagine. that even brings us back to this number, inflation rate. What do you think? What will be the number? We're at 20 something, almost 30%.
Yes, we almost hit 30% last year. Okay, I think that inflation rate is still going to be on the rise for now. Like first, second quarter, we might see increases, month-on-month increases in inflation rates. We're going to see that, but then maybe there might be a little bit of fluctuation here and there. You understand? Maybe there will be maybe after 3 months one can decide that it's not going to increase. You understand? But I think that January is going to see a certain percentage. February is going to see a percentage higher than what was seen in January. March is going to see something like that too. Then maybe one of the months, maybe April, May, might have a drop. You understand? It's not like as if inflation is not increasing, but then the month-on-month increase is going to be lower. That's what I believe.
Okay, so my belief is, like we said last week in the episode, the rise in prices of crude oil products is attached to inflation.
Yes,
it affected inflation. So as it increases, as petroleum price increases or reduces, that will happen as well. So it's going to be attached to that as well. So, for example, based on the prediction that I just made, quarter and quarter, right? So in the second quarter, in the first quarter, we don't see anything like reducing. It's going to even increase.
Yes,
you understand? It's going to keep increasing. In the second quarter, there's going to be fluctuation. There's going to be like fluctuation. In the third quarter, there might be a drop, but I don't think it's going to be less than 25% in general, right? I don't think it's going to be less than 25% or even less than 27%. I'm not sure. But towards the end of the year, if the prediction that I made in the fourth quarter happens, I believe that I think we're going to go down below 25%. I think we're going to reach
that's a bold prediction.
Yeah, that's a very bold prediction. I think we're going to go below 25% if that happens.
This is where you need to put a pin and come and press our necks later if it doesn't happen by 2025. We're going to spare our lives.
Amen. So, if that happens, oh my God, we'll put it there. We shall promote it. We will promote it. Everybody must hear it. We said it first.
Okay, calm down. You're starting to sound like a certain evil mustache man. Anyway,
I have a mustache, but I'm not evil.
Well, you don't know who I'm referring to as evil mustache man. You don't know who they refer to as evil mustache man on TikTok.
I don't know. I'm not on TikTok. I'm an old man. I beg people.
That's true.
I'm an old man. I don't know what. I don't know what.
You know. Something that you don't know about DDB is that he's a baby boomer. So there's a generational gap between both of us.
Baby boomer is a far reach, bro. It's a far reach. It's too much. I'm a millennial. I'm a late millennial. Now they call us zillennial. They call us zillennials.
Yeah, so okay. Back to what we were talking about. Okay, so we've talked about, what do you think? We are still on, everything kind of links up. So now we are going into production.
Yeah.
What do you think production is going to be like? do you think that the fact that we are refining our petroleum products is going to have a positive impact on our production capabilities, thereby reducing the amount of imports we make? Not now, we've talked about how we are going to reduce importing refined petroleum products, but then are we also going to see a reduction in importation in general due to this refinery?
Well, it depends on policies and the law.
Yeah.
Now, for example, I said last year that last episode, that I believe Nigeria is trying to really deliberately take companies out, like foreign companies out, right? Now, if that happens and if it continues this year, it means that they're going to stimulate cash into the economy to help people build up certain things, right? It's going to reduce the emphasis on buying stuff outside, except the rich. Now, except the luxurious people and the rich people, you understand, will be able to buy outside, because there's going to be huge tax on. We're even going to talk about tax. Yeah, there's going to be huge tax on importation. So, which means they're going to promote the Local Content Act that is already in law, that is not being enforced. You get the Local Content Act just means that as long as your product is in Nigeria, you are meant lawfully abide as a government parastatal, whatever it is, or even a business. You're meant to patronize that product. Yes, they are not forcing you to do that, right? But what they are trying to do now is that they're whatever policy they are making, they're going to make the policies to make sure that it's either going to make you to buy a Nigerian product similar to what is outside, right? Or it's up to you to now go and buy if you have a lot of money. You understand? And a lot of people do not have that money to go and buy. So the middle class, and this is what they're going to do, they're going to force a lot of people into the middle class. We know that it's deteriorating, but it's a very bad thing for them as a government if the middle class deteriorates and then get eliminated. The more they have in the middle class, the more the money they make as a government.
The middle class drives the economy.
Exactly, the middle class drives the economy.
I remember you said something like this last season.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, basically, we are predicting that production output is going to increase, and then also importations might reduce.
Yes, but depending. Yeah. Depending on.
I'm calling it.
Oh, you're calling it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And my prediction is that there's going to be laws and policies to have that.
The reason why I said I'm calling it was I feel like they are going to capitalize on it. You see an opportunity, so this actually aligns with what you're trying to do. So it makes no sense for you not to capitalize on it and boost, production within the country and everything. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of savings are going to happen. First of all, you've cut out fuel subsidy. That's a lot of savings. Then you're now going to cut out, the expenditure that you've been churning out to import all these petroleum products and all that. So you're going to have even more money to pump into the system.
Exactly.
Which brings us to taxes. Actually, before we talk about taxes, let us talk about our debts.
Debt. What's the debt stock that we have right now? External debt stock.
I can't really remember the figure, but then I remember that the debt to GDP ratio is around 38.9%.
Okay.
That's at 2023. So,
and that's equal to what number?
That is about, say, that's about 30% of our 470 billion as our GDP. What's the calculation? Run the maths.
You see this guy? 10% is for 40 something billion dollars, right? Then which means 5% is 20 something. You understand? So which means 38%. No. We're not calculating this right.
total debt of a country all over the GDP. You understand?
Yeah.
And we can express it as a percentage, because once you multiply by 100, it becomes a percentage.
Baba,
So
that's around $200 billion, almost $200 billion or $200 billion.
Not really up to maybe. Okay.
It's about 470.
Actually,
it's about 470.
170 was the figure. So
it's
around 170. Yes, that was the figure. So 170 billion naira, dollars rather.
Yeah.
$170 billion, and it is expected to rise. It's going to rise. It's not even expected to rise.
It's going to rise
because, first of all, if you have the intention to invest in locally made products, encourage local production, you're going to invest. And if you don't have the money, you're going to have to borrow. And then if you borrow, you're going to increase the debt profile, and the debt to GDP ratio is definitely going to rise above 40%. That is my call.
Above 50% this year,
40.
or 40%. Okay, it's 38% already. Yeah,
Yes.
Definitely, it's going to above. It's going to be more than 40%, of course.
Maybe 40, 41.
Yeah, and you said something off record where you said they're going to use tax. Now let's go into tax now, right? 18%, right? That's their aim.
Yes, Nigeria's aim. Yes.
Their aim now is to make sure that 18% of a part of the GDP, right, is taxable and is going to come back to Nigeria as revenue. So, but apart from that, they're also going to use.
What they are aiming is that the contribution of the revenue, government revenue, to the GDP is going to be 18%. So meaning that taxes are going to increase. Taxes on middle class, especially.
Yeah, definitely.
Middle class, especially, is going to increase, and
which means interest rate is going to reduce. Yes, interest rate will reduce this year. If that's the case, a lot of sense, because that's even what makes me think, because all what we've just talked about would lead to an economic boom in the country.
Yes,
you understand?
So when interest rates reduce, and people are going to
a lot of people want to buy, and that will usher a lot of people into the middle class, and they would want to maintain people in the middle class. So yeah, they will be giving you more money, and you
want to buy things to improve your businesses. You're going to be able to get them easier. All those type of things. All those things are going to come about.
And then there's going to be a lot of money in the business.
However,
this year,
you're gonna give on to Caesar what belongs to
Caesar. They will tax you, this year they will tax. No, not that they will tax you. They will tax us. They will tax us.
Nigeria has always had this problem of let's say tax evasion.
Yeah.
And also irregularities when it comes to collecting taxes. Inefficiencies in collecting taxes.
And do you know that you're actually
this
meant,
administration is
you're actually
working
meant to
on
make
that.
you're actually meant to pay tax for whatever earning you make.
Yes.
Whether personal or not.
I think part of our predictions last year was that crypto ban was going to be lifted, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Crypto ban was lifted.
And it was lifted.
Yes.
Now,
a lot of money will enter the market.
A lot of money is still going to enter the market. Now,
yes, a lot of people
I am also suspecting that I'm suspecting that crypto they are going to be taxes on crypto transactions.
And there's going to be a regulation body for crypto. And which is good, really, really good, because it's going to bring a lot of money for the government, like taxable income anyway. You get what it's going to. But there's another problem also as well. Nigerians know how to evade tax very well. They will use personal accounts for businesses instead of your business account, right? And they can forge numbers, right?
True.
Now,
like cooking the books.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Nigerians know how to cook the books very well. You understand? But they need to have regulatory bodies. I think CAC, and more than just CAC, they need to put more bodies in place so that they can regulate that and also monitor that. As I'm saying, this is not going to be nice for everybody, but well, let's see.
I would not like it.
Honestly, personally, I would not like it, but it's good for the
You
country.
see Nigerians, enemies of progress.
Yeah.
Enemies of our progress.
But I would not like it, but it's good. It's actually good for the country, honestly. If I'm being patriotic, yes, it's the best thing to happen.
I remember
But
something.
I don't want that to happen.
When I used to stay in Lagos, Fashola is like regarded as one of like the best governors of Lagos State. People like really liked his tenure and everything. There was a lot of developments in the state. So somebody, a family member of mine, said that he wasn't okay after the first 4 years when the second election was coming up. When it was time for him to be elected for his second term, he said he was not good. Even though he voted Fashola in the first election, he said he wasn't going to vote Fashola this time around. I said, why? He said because his taxes are too high. Yes, so no, we don't really like taxes, I guess, but then it's for the greater good.
It's for the greater good, honestly. Like, and we stayed here off record, Kiwi and I, talking about the fact that Tinubu administration are making good moves, and these good moves are really, really. That we're not going to see the impact right now, honestly, but at least they make sense. We can see what they're trying to do. It's not like Buhari's regime when we could not see what
I mean, actually, in fairness, there were some moves that were made that made a lot of sense. In fact, that will make you look like a crazy person when you're defending it to other people. Right? The problem, and it's the problem that we've always had, which is the problem I pray that this current administration does not have, is when it comes to execution. You have good plans, you start making moves, but then it's like as if you lose your will along the way,
and you drill
and you just go off, because sometimes you actually have to think of it. I said this also, like, leaders have to think. You don't have to think of the thing that they will praise you for immediately, like when you finish your 4 or 8 years and everybody will say, oh yes, you have done this. That's why a lot of governors and others like opt for building roads more than anything, because the first thing that Nigerians will say, at least he built roads, because that's the thing. They'll say, this is your legacy, this is his legacy project, whatever. But then sometimes it's just for you to, for you to be able to create systems that future governments can build on, you understand, and will lead to the prosperity of the state or of the country and stuff like that. It's not going to be you that they will sing the praises for, but then if you are able to humble yourself below that, beyond that, that thought basically of I want everybody to sing my praises, or I want everybody to remember me for this and stuff like that, and just think about the greater good, the big picture. It all makes sense.
We talked about how Nigerians don't really like to think the big picture, right? Like it's case in point, right, of what he was saying now.
And delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification. Like case in point is Kaduna State with Mr. Nasir El-Rufai. Now, when Nasir El-Rufai took over, right, the revenue that they were making in a year, right, was not half of the amount that Kano was making. You understand? But after his first 4 years, he did not do anything structurally, right? But he made sure that
he actually did something structurally.
First 4 years, he didn't. He just started like creating something structural. When I say structurally, I mean like what you can see, like roads and all that. He started. He not. Let me land first, right? Let me land. Okay, roads were not there anymore. I stayed in Kaduna.
He was more committed to pipe-borne water than anything, and people were even yabbing him for it. Calling him pipe playing governor. I'm exactly. Like, are you people crazy? And
apart from that, right? He was creating a very good system for businesses in KD.
Yes, very true.
Right, and during that first tenure, do you know that more than 1,000 business? No, I'm talking about like hundreds of thousands of businesses, or I'll be thousands of businesses. I don't know the exact amount, but I know it's more than 10,000 anyway that were registered and they were functioning, and then there were trainings for businesses, right? Over Kaduna Business School like made name during that period. You understand? And they were going into schools, making different initiatives up and down, like ushering university students into businesses, registering businesses. Like They had Smedan, for example, like go into different outreaches and all that. And guess what? By the end of that, his first tenure, they were making more than double what Kano was making in revenue.
Yes.
And they were rivaling, what's it called? They cannot come close to Lagos, but they were almost close to River State. Almost close to River State. They were the top 3 at that point. And then that was when he could now use what he had done to bring in, like, I think more than $2 billion investment into the state. And that was huge.
And even now that he's done with his tenure, he has essentially basically started a venture capitalist company.
Exactly. Right? And apart from
you can see his commitment to those type of
exactly. And apart from that, if you look at Kaduna now, Kaduna is heading towards a smart city. You understand? If you go to Kaduna, you will see what I mean. Kaduna is a different ball game than 8 years ago. It's a different ball. Not even 8 years ago. Let's say 5-6 years ago. It's a different thing entirely. Go to see. Oh my God, El-Rufai did a good job. Forget the roads. Yes, he has created a good channel of road channels and all that, right? Making it look really good.
That's not everything.
But that's not everything. That's just the surface of it. He has created a really good structure about how to use the land, the educational system, talking about the business, the economical system as well. Like, it's, if you want to actually enjoy and actually run a business in KD, you can actually do it. Just that the market is not really, it's still not mature yet.
Yes.
You get, but it's still not mature, and then there's this issue of insecurity here and there. That's where these problems are. So the immaturity of the market, and then 2, insecurity. So those are, if not, oh my God, Kaduna is ripe for the taking.
It's a good thing that you mentioned insecurity.
Yeah,
I think we should talk about that next.
Do you think insecurity is going to lessen?
Going to drop? No, I do not think so. Not at all. And reason being that one of the issues when it comes to crime, insecurity, and all that is that times become hard. You understand? And in any area of development, any era rather of development, you have areas of difficulty, and people will be tempted to go to crime, go to kidnapping, which is what is most common of late. I don't think that is going to drop. I think that it's going to increase, and the military will have to work overtime basically to try to curb this problem this year, because right now it's starting to get very, very alarming. I mean, there was a little drop last year. But all of a sudden it became rampant again. It became
rampant
towards the end of the year.
Yes.
So I don't see it dropping with the current conditions.
It's
but
not
then
a business.
The military needs to up the ante.
It's not a business, and I think, let me even point it out, Steph. Right, towards the end of the year, right. The reason why it has happened is because people go and come back, travel a lot.
Yes.
You understand? And then now, early this year, it's even too much now because of the fact that students are going back to school, especially that Kaduna Abuja road.
Yes.
It's like that from Abuja, that Abuja, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger State, Kaduna, and Kano. This axis is hugely, it's a problem at the moment. Though the most dangerous road now to follow is that Kaduna Abuja road. But anyway, well, we pray that things get better. But honestly, I don't see them getting better because of the underlying issues we already have.
And it actually has to get better.
Yeah, it has
for everything to work. Everything is dependent on the security.
Exactly. We're talking about transport system now. It's
Nigeria is trying to invest a lot in agriculture now.
Yeah.
And farmers are being
the agricultural system
being stifled
because of insecurity. They are afraid.
Yes. You have people, you have mafia where they have to pay, pay some taxes to them before they can even go to farm, all this type of thing. In some places, they have to have military convoy accompanying them before they can
go and farm.
It's very, very crazy. So a decisive effort needs to be made, one that is swift and precise, You understand? For all this type for this solution to come to an
Anyway,
end
see,
finally.
there's a
For this
conspiracy.
problem to come to an end
There's a
finally.
conspiracy theory that I have that I'm not gonna talk about right now. But we all know that this is a business.
It's obviously a business.
It's obviously
Which is what scares me the most about it.
Yeah,
because
that's what.
there's this whole thing. Okay, somebody gets kidnapped. Nigeria says do not negotiate with terrorists, but even Nigeria sometimes negotiates with terrorists, right? And then it's our stance is not as strong as say United States of America.
Yeah.
I think that okay, let me make my point first. You see people getting kidnapped. It's not even like in those days when people get kidnapped, they even used to take care of them very well and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But people even used to make jokes about itself. In those early days of skits making.
But this one,
people make jokes about, oh, I want to be kidnapped so that at least I go chop food, that kind of thing.
These
days it's not like that. You get tortured. They torture the hell out of their victims and everything, just to make sure that somebody. I mean, this guy. There's this man that got kidnapped with his daughters of recent. They released the father to go and hustle money to get them. They're asking for 60 million naira. 60 million naira. How should they get 60 million naira from where? Do you understand?
And then out of nowhere
I saw a report. I saw a report that even one of them had been killed. I've not confirmed it yet. But they said that one of them has been killed now. They're threatening. They have not even raised up to a quarter of that 60 million they're asking for. So if he cannot raise it now, so it means all his daughters are gone. Where do they want them to get the money from? And then if somehow you pull this money together and you give it to them,
there's still no guarantee. It's still no guarantee.
Number one, it's not a guarantee of
safety.
Getting them alive. It's not a guarantee that it's not going to happen to you again.
Exactly.
You understand? And then this money is, like we said, is a business. It's going to be reinvested to only God knows what.
Exactly. That money that is
going to be invested into this business, but then
again,
to evolve into
something else.
You understand? So the country needs to take a very, very big decision against this.
And I think it's a bummer that we're going to end on a sad note.
Actually, there's one more thing.
It's a bummer that we're going to end on a sad note. I hope it's a good note. Continue.
The Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline.
Oh, actually, that's a good one. But delayed gratification.
Right. Okay, so 2024 is going to be the start of a very, very big
exciting project.
It involves
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that project in detail.
Yeah.
But a pipeline is going to run from Nigeria through a lot of West African countries, like and into Europe through Morocco.
Yes.
And honestly, that is a beautiful project.
Yeah, the first line is that it has to get to Morocco first.
Yes.
Before we now start talking about Europe.
Yeah.
Well, that is a new market.
That is a big market, actually. Big market. Big market.
You know, with this whole talk of climate change and everything, it's now making us to talk more of natural gases, that are going to be more friendly when it comes to carbon footprint and all those things.
Yeah.
So we need to, even though we have things like electric vehicles now and everything, but still an alternative to the current fuel, basically.
Yeah.
Can still be in the form of those natural gases.
Yes.
It still has its own peculiarities when it comes to this, but then it's not as bad.
Yeah.
And the carbon footprint drastically reduces and stuff. It's something that you can push for. And then it's when entering into that market, you're going to basically try to. What it means is that we are trying to enter Russia's market, basically.
Exactly.
And also by extension Saudi Arabia's market too. So it's quite exciting. We want to see how it's going to play out. It's
basically going to be a correct, good competition in the next 25, 30, 40, 50 years. Let's see what happens. Yes. Because it's going to be mad competition between Russia, Saudi Arabia and Nigeria, to get that European and Eastern market.
Yes, that's very
it's going to be huge.
And truly, this project is quite ambitious. It's going to last for 25 years, but the commencement is going to be this year.
Yeah,
we believe that there will be no hitches. The project is going to start
by 2049. By 2049, that year I'll be in my early 50s.
Are you sure you will not be 70?
By God's grace, I'll be in my early 50s. That will be the peak year, and that will be the peak years, and that will be years where when that happens, entering the market.
Systems.
Oh my God, entering the market.
Damn,
before then, Seth. Oh my God.
I know that we do not like you, but please give us this.
The way I'm thinking of businesses or certain opportunities that can happen. Because of that, you can even start planning certain things now.
Yes, actually.
Like
although that is like counting your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not talking about plans. Like you can start making money now and putting certain pieces together, right, for yourself. And even if it does not happen, at least you've gone somewhere. You get back. But bro,
one more short prediction, very short.
Yeah, what is it?
Nigeria wins AFCON 2024. Victor Osimhen, please.
It will not happen.
Victor Osimhen,
it
please.
will not happen. I want it to happen, but I don't see it happening.
It will happen. Book it.
Amen. And if it happens, you see, but you're spoiling our percentage in our probability. You're spoiling, but it's going to be a good sign.
I believe in you, Super Eagles.
Go Super Eagles. Go Super Eagles. Go Super Eagles. And that brings us to a wrap for today's episode. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And go and check our poll on, if you're listening on Spotify, you go and check our poll, right? Of bloopers. Do you want bloopers or not? Do you want bloopers? You people should vote no. If nobody says anything, I'm not going to flesh out the bloopers, because at the moment I'm seeing it's still there's no 0%. There's 0% increase. But anyway, goodbye. Have fun this week.